It allegorically portrays how the process before reaching the success is more important than the accomplishment in the end. Nissim Ezekiel is regarded as the father of post-independent Indian poetry in English. His poem Enterprise is written under the collection titled The Unfinished Man. This poem deals with the theme of a journey that is supposed to be very profitable in the end. Ezekiel explains how a group of people came together with good intentions and to achieve a common goal. Enterprise is Ezekiel's metaphorical explanation of the journey of life and our relationship with the people around us. This poem falls under the category of allegorical poems. As an allegory, this poem has double meaning. On the surface, it looks like a group of people going on a journey, like a group of friends on a vacation trip. But on observing closely, we find Nissim Ezekiel satirizes mankind's journey of life. It also symbolizes the rise and fall, the wishes and aspirations of India. It signifies the various stages of Indian culture and development in its path after the independence. The poem talks about the pilgrimage of a group of people that started with a strong sense of purpose, but sadly ended in devastation and confusion. And in the concluding lines of the poem, the poet expresses how the group just didn't even remember why they took the journey in the first place. And all they wanted was to go back home to the beginning and regain their senses. The poem allegorically talks about how we start our journey of life with our friends and loved ones with great innocence and great intentions of common good as our main motive. But as we continue to move on, selfishness, greed, pride, ego, anger, negativity, and temporal desires take hold of us. And even if we become successful in the end, we end up feeling full of regrets and shame, remorse, and realization of the loss of innocence in life. Secondly, it also symbolizes how, after independence, Indian leaders tried to work together for the welfare of India as a newborn democratic nation, but struggles to keep the spirit of nationality and patriotism alive, and how difficult it was to work collaboratively. And so some leaders went their separate ways, some dismissed, and some couldn't continue. Some had other motives, some quarreled, and though in the end India achieved success and development, friendships and relationships fell apart. And unity got lost in the process because sacrifices had to be made along the way. As the poem begins, a group of people started their journey. It was supposed to be like a pilgrimage, a religious journey of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. As they began their journey, their motives were pure and they sacrificed for one another and helped one another as they continued further on. However, later on, their natural instinct was starting to show as they became uncomfortable physically and emotionally, as we find in the line, "The sun beat down to match our rage." The second stanza speaks out about how they were patient with one another and at the same time how they noticed and observed the ways of people trying to survive by deceiving one another. Serpents and goats are often associated with deceit, so they symbolize how people cheat and deceive one another for survival. They visited 3 cities and heard the holy man preaching. In the third stanza, we find that the group had to decide how to overcome a problem, the issue of getting across a desert. In the second stanza, the poet speaks about 3 cities where society and life flourished. While in the third stanza, he talks about a desert where there is no life. So he talks about how they came through the good times and the bad times together. At such a juncture, when difficult times approached and when their opinion began to differ, they lost a friend who was said to be the best writer among them. This symbolizes loss of imaginative ability among the group. Losing a writer, according to the poet, is losing their imaginative ability. With this, a shadow falls on them. A shadow symbolizes misunderstanding and enmity among them. And this negativity started to grow. Fourth stanza speaks of their loss of unity as they were attacked twice and they lost their way. This symbolizes how the group struggles to face criticism and judgments from other groups, and losing their way symbolizes their state of confusion and undecisiveness. This led to the division of their group. The leader tried to keep a positive spirit by trying to give hope to the members, to the group members, but the followers couldn't see any hope, but still they blindly followed to finish the thing that they started, the pilgrimage that they started, trying to ignore the dangerous signs and by now deprived of all the comforts of life. In the beginning, they started off as a group of many members, united and enthusiastic, hopeful and full of life, but now they were few, crippled, hopeless, and with no enlightenment and full of doubts and confusion. In the final stanza, we find that they actually succeeded to accomplish their dreams. They reached the destination, but when they reached, they realized that they had turned into totally different people. The pilgrimage, the journey, changed them completely. They lost many friends along the way. Their attitudes changed. They did not have the peace and joy that they expected. There was no celebration or excitement. They thought that they would achieve it together and that they would be proud of their achievement, but that did not happen. They hardly knew why they decided to go on the pilgrimage. The trip made them wiser, of course, the pilgrimage made them wiser, but the wisdom only darkened them as it robbed them of their innocence, of their true happiness and unity. The experiences along the journey left deep marks upon those who undertook the enterprise. It allegorically portrays how people come together to take up a project or undertaking, and reminds the reader how the process before reaching the success is more important than the accomplishment in the end. In Ezekiel's poems, self-evaluation is an important theme which is often organized through social conditions. Thus, in this poem, we find that Ezekiel expresses the importance of endurance, perseverance, and companionship, unity, and wisdom in the process of an undertaking to have a fruitful and meaningful ending. He exposes the undeniable fact that when we try to accomplish something, we are tested by time, fate, and situation that can break the very meaning of the pilgrimage or the enterprise. The process and the choices that we make can really break the purpose of the struggle. Ezekiel explains this idea using the allegorical figure of a journey taken by a group of like-minded people. They started off in high spirit, but with time, doubt and misunderstandings and differences and hard times overshadowed their united dreams and purpose and left them broken and unfinished, even though they reached their final destination. With that, we come to the end of this explanation. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.